Hi guys, back on the camera again. For today's video, I'm going to talk about anxiety, and more specifically an A to Z of anxiety. I've written down some notes on it. Anxiety is something I have suffered with a lot over the years, especially when I was younger. I used to get really anxious over all sorts of things. The Urantia book says in a few places that most anxiety is absolutely needless and unnecessary. So here's my A to Z of anxiety. A is for alcohol. Now, a little bit of alcohol can help you feel less anxious, but it's probably the most ill advised approach to helping it because obviously a little bit of alcohol can bring you instant relief. But obviously, if you drink too much, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble and when you're drunk, you'll do things that you'll regret and they'll haunt you when you're older. You might break a window or upset somebody. So alcohol, yeah, but out of all the advice I can give, no. A is for ASMR. That stands for Automatic Sensory Meridian Response, and it's a kind of combination of psychological triggers and hypnosis and semiotics and ASMR. It's been going around for a few years now. That can help, although some ASMR videos will make you a lot more anxious. ASMR can be designed to elicit a whole gamut of human emotions. I'd recommend checking out a guy called Jim ASMR on YouTube, who is pretty much the best ASMR exponent there is. B is for benzodiazepine, and by that I mean Valium, temazepam, lorazepam, clonazepam, all the PAMs, benzos. One disadvantage with benzos is that they're addictive, they're habit forming. There's quite a few. I think at one time in this country there were 1 million Valium addicts. They used to call Valium mothers that were helpers. Now, benzos are good for anxiety, but like I said, they're addictive, and you'll end up developing a tolerance to them, so you'll need more and more to get the same effect. And then you also, if you decide to stop taking the benzos, you might go through benzodiazepine withdrawal, which is quite unpleasant. Of all the benzos, the one that works the quickest is lorazepam. Okay, B is for binaural beats. Binaural is spelled Binaaural, and it's basically um, it's hard to explain. Just go on YouTube and type in relaxing binaural beats. Now that can obviously be combined with the ASMR that I just mentioned. That can be very helpful. C is for caffeine. Caffeine can increase anxiety. Um, Coffee, black coffee, all the caffeinated drinks can make you more anxious. And if you decide to stop taking caffeine completely, you'll find that it takes about 10 days to withdraw successfully from caffeine. But I think maybe a little bit of caffeine can help anxiety. C is for ceremonial magic. Ceremonial magic can provide a form of intellectual decompression because when you're doing ceremonial magic, you're so focused on the gestures and the signs and the correspondences and the paraphernalia that gives your mind a break. It's what Anton LaVey called intellectual decompression. Um, if after you do ceremonial magic you feel anxious, then you're doing it wrong. Either that or you're a beginner. C is for catharsis. Catharsis is taking it out on something. For instance, like getting on a punch bag, going for a run. It's getting rid of the anger and the aggression. It's sort of forcing it out of yourself. catharsis. There's many different forms of catharsis. Um, C stands for CBD, or cannabinoid, which you can get now in health food shops and pharmacists. You don't need a prescription for CBD, and it's extracted from the cannabis plant, but they take out the psychoactive component, which is called THC, and they just keep the cannabinoid element, CBD. It's quite expensive, even though there's lots of different companies making it now. It is pretty expensive, but it does help. CBD will really help you. And not only that, it will help you quickly. D is for diary keeping. Just the sheer act of writing a diary and noting down the facts of your life as you progress from day to day can help. I mean, diary keeping is just a useful thing in general, but that kind of ties into catharsis as well. Yeah, definitely keep a diary. E is for eating properly. Now, a lot of people think that anxiety is purely on the mental plane. They think that because anxiety is a mental condition, that you need a mental cure. But actually, eating properly can make a hell of a lot of difference. Proper vitamins, proper minerals, specifically copper. Copper supplements can help you. Exercise. E is for exercise. Literally, just going for a 5-10 minute walk can make all the difference. Exercise again is like catharsis that I mentioned earlier on, but literally just going for a half an hour walk or a 15-minute stroll can make all the difference. E is for EFT, or emotional freedom technique, which is a school of thought that I don't know a great deal about, but I know a lot of people have used EFT. I think it's been noted to be quite useful for people with PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. But yeah, look up emotional freedom technique, EFT. F is for friends. People are not designed to be on their own. We are a gregarious species, so call up a friend, have a half an hour chat on the phone. Maybe that will help. G is for games or diversions. Taking your mind off things, like have a game of Scrabble, play a game of chess, get the Monopoly board out, get out the gum, get out the playing cards. You know, anything to take your mind off the anxiety. H is for hypnosis. Now, hypnosis can be helpful with anxiety, but it can also be very dangerous. Um, so I'd recommend that you do something called auto hypnosis, which is a whole subject in itself. Auto hypnosis, Google it. H is for housework. As above, so below. If your flat or your home is cluttered and dirty and disorganized, that's going to impact on your state of mind. Doing a couple of hours of housework, even if you don't think you need to do the housework, you'll find that once you go looking for dirt, looking for disorganization, you'll find it eventually, you know. I is for intensity and adrenaline. To have an intense experience, like go on a fairground ride, go to a rock metal concert, um, do something that gets you out of your comfort zone. Intensity. J is for joy. If you're not having a peak experience every day, you should have moments of joy in your life, even if it's only a fleeting sensation. We all need joy. We all need peak experiences. Every day you should experience something that makes you want to stay alive, a peak experience. J is for joy. We all have the right to experience joy. K is for know thyself. This is the most difficult one of all. to really sit down and confront who you are can be a terrifying experience. To know thyself can unearth all kinds of anxiety, but it has to be done. We have to sort of dig into our own subconscious. We have to accept a million years of human DNA and a million years of um, negative experience, which is in our genetic memory. So know thyself, that's the tricky one. But ultimately, you will know yourself eventually, and eventually you'll experience freedom from anxiety. L is for laughter. We laugh at things that normally would make us angry. Okay? So when you experience something in your life that makes you angry at yourself, because that's where the real danger is when people become really angry with themselves. Learn to laugh at yourself. The day you grow up is the day you laugh at yourself. M is for meditation. Meditation, again, is a vast subject, very involved. There's hundreds and hundreds of different types of meditation out there. There are as many types of meditation as there are meditation practitioners. M, oddly enough, is also for Marmite. Marmite is high in B vitamins. And I know from personal experience that Marmite has helped me deal with anxiety. I'm not exactly sure how or why. I don't understand the science behind it, but B vitamins are helpful. M is for massage. Um, Go and see a masseuse. Spend 50 or 60 quid for a half-hour massage. You'll probably be surprised that there are quite a few massage. Well, I don't want to say massage parlour because that brings up another sort of thing. But yeah, go and get a half an hour massage. It might be the best 50 quid you ever spent. M is for music. I don't really need to elaborate on that one. I mean, there obviously some music will make you more anxious, like some of this more modern genres of so-called music. But yeah, music. N is neurosis. Now, neurosis does tie into anxiety. Um, it's hard to make the distinction between neurosis and anxiety. Um, I'm not sure about that, but go and see a psychotherapist maybe. N is for nicotine lozenges. Nicotine is actually quite good for you. Like obviously, smoking tobacco is not good for your health, but or vaping is not good for your health. Nicotine lozenges, nicotine gum has no toxicity as far as human health is concerned. But you might be surprised that nicotine lozenges can help with anxiety. N is for NLP or neuro linguistic programming, which is a massive subject in itself. That will teach you psychological techniques, NLP, neuro linguistic programming. O is for open mindedness. Most people are not that open minded, especially as they get older. Like when you get into your middle age, when you get into the years of middle age, you kind of like you get blinkered. It can't really be helped. But you can entertain open mindedness for a limited period of time. Sit down, collect your thoughts, just watch the thoughts, um, watch the associations of the thoughts. Don't try and control them, and maybe that would help. P is for psychosynthesis. Psychosynthesis is a school of psychotherapy that was started by a guy called Roberto Assagioli, or Assagioli, I don't know how it's pronounced. But psychosynthesis is a very interesting, very eclectic school of psychotherapy, which is, for the main part, written in layman's terms. So that would be helpful. P is for prostitutes. Now, I know that prostitution is a harmful thing in lots of cases, but prostitutes and escorts are there for a reason. And, a lot of neurosis is sexual in nature, so maybe seeing a prostitute would help. I'm not condoning prostitution as such, but it's there anyway. P stands for sense of proportion. Try and consider the fact that your life is just one small life amongst billions of lives across trillions of planets. Yeah? Try and put things in perspective. Q is for Kabbalah. Now, Kabbalah is useful for treating anxiety because it breaks up thought patterns. A lot of the time, anxiety comes from thought sequences and thought patterns that can't be they kind of like stick in your head, but Kabbalah can help you to break up those thought patterns because it's a cross between natural and linear thinking. Um, so if you've got thoughts that are depressing you, if you use the Kabbalah, it can kind of disperse ingrained thought patterns. R is for rescue remedy. Rescue remedy is a floral herbal remedy. You can buy it in Holland and Barrett. You can buy it in lots of places, and it's literally called rescue remedy, or sometimes it's just called rescue. Now that stuff is really helpful. It's probably just as helpful as the CBD that I mentioned earlier. I wish I'd discovered that stuff years ago because I've only known about it for a few months. On rescue remedy is amazing. S is for sex. I don't really want to go into that in a big way, but yeah. Um, okay, S is for sleep and sleep hygiene. If you go online, download or Google or whatever sleep hygiene, which is something that basically says things like you should wash before you go to the bed, you should not watch TV for 2 or 3 hours before going to bed. Try not to check your phone when you can't sleep. It's called sleep hygiene. There's quite a lot of information online about that. T is for trance states. Now, trance in itself is a very multifaceted concept. There's all kinds of trance out there. I'm not exactly sure what I really meant when I wrote that down, but trance states. T is for technology and mind control. Although I haven't used them, there are all kinds of technological devices that you can use to reduce anxiety. Like there's something called a neurophone, which was invented by Patrick Flanagan. There's something called an emotive headset. There's older mind control technology like the Lumatron. Um, you can buy something called a mind machine or a programmable mind machine, which you can program with different frequencies. I'm not really into the technological mind control stuff, but it is out there. You'd be surprised. U is for urine therapy, which may sound kind of disgusting, but urine therapy is basically drinking your own urine, which is absolutely disgusting. But there is a school of thought that will tell you that that will help with anxiety as well. Um, U is for uselessness. The uselessness of anxiety, realizing that 99.9% of anxiety is completely unnecessary. Like how many things that you worry about actually manifest. So yeah. V is for vitamin B. Vitamin B helps with anxiety. I'm not, like I said earlier, I don't understand the science behind it. Vitamin B or Marmite. Marmite's expensive, but if that will help you with anxiety. W is for worry. Worry can be cured. The difference between worry and anxiety is that if you're worried about something, you can take action to assuage that worry. Whereas with anxiety, no amount of action will will help. Basically, like you can. Anxiety is kind of like based on hopelessness almost. But X, I couldn't think of anything for X. I'm sorry about that, but I'm not omniscient. Y is for yoga. Now, when I say yoga, most people are thinking of hatha yoga. There's actually many, many different types of yoga, but what most people think of it um, is hatha yoga, which is asana and pranayama, or postures and breathing control. There's hundreds of books out there on yoga, and you can kind of like create your own yoga. You don't have to do it by a book. I mean, my yoga practice is very, very simple. I did do hatha yoga when I was younger. But, yeah. Okay, Z is zoo, or the human zoo. If you kick back and you think about the absolute diversity of the human species and all the different specimens of humanity that exist, the human zoo, you realize that pretty much anything goes, and there's always somebody worse off than you. You're an individual. Humanity is a bit like a zoo. You're an individual. You're allowed to be an individual. Okay, so that is my A to Z of anxiety and things that will help with anxiety. Okay, thank you.